I mean, he's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk, he's a dog, he's a pig, he's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework, doesn't care, thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. This is somebody that we want for president? I don't think so. What I care about is the direction of this country. And what I'm very, very worried about is that it might go in the wrong direction with someone like Donald Trump. If you care about your future, vote for it.
You call for Medicare for all, a guaranteed federal job for anyone who wants one, free college tuition, canceling all student loan debt, cutting military spending by 50%, and ending all wars and all drone attacks. Dr. Stein, how much will that cost, and how are you going to pay for it?
So let me say first, we don't call for ending all wars, but we call for ending these catastrophic regime change wars that have cost us $6 trillion by the time we've paid for the health care of our wounded veterans. That's according to a recent Harvard study. And remember, this is half, more than half of our discretionary budget. So that's part of how we pay for things. Another way we pay for things, in fact, we call for a Green New Deal, an emergency jobs program to fix the emergency of climate change. And the great thing, Chris, is that this program pays for itself. And I can say this as a medical doctor, it turns out we get so much healthier by eliminating fossil fuel pollution. 200,000 deaths every year, in fact, from fossil fuel pollution. We get so much healthier that the savings in healthcare alone is enough to pay for the green energy transition.
And in it, they said this: Jill Stein's policy ideas are poorly formed and wildly impractical. Dr. Stein, that's not good.
Well, I think they called me actually a fairy tale campaign, to which I would answer, in fact, we are living with a couple of nightmare campaigns right now that the American people object to at absolutely unprecedented levels. The American people are saying that politics as usual has been throwing them under the bus, and in fact, the two major party candidates have the highest ratings of disapproval and distrust of any candidate anywhere at any time throughout our history. So what I'm saying is what the American people are calling for. 76% of Americans are saying we need to open up the debates. There are actually 4 candidates on the ballot for just about every American. And in America, we not only have a right to vote, we have a right to know who we can vote for. Donald Trump actually has received more than $4 billion in free media, and Hillary Clinton over $2 billion. I've received almost none, and yet still I'm coming up 4 or 5% in the polls with zero media, which tells you there is word of mouth going on out there because a generation of young people is locked into debt. And referring to your question about how do we pay for it, somehow we came up with the money. It turned out to be about $16 trillion to bail out the crooks on Wall Street who crashed the economy. Isn't it time that we bail out an entire generation that's basically been locked in debt, doesn't have the jobs to earn their way out of that college debt? What is more important to us than liberating a generation who can lead the way forward, not only on our economy, but in all of the social issues that we have in front of us? It's always been young people.
Let me pick up on another aspect of your plan.
This war on terror.
Okay, but how would you fight ISIS?
We've created failed states, mass refugee. I'll tell you in one sec. Failed states, mass refugee migrations, and worse terrorist threats, which is the point. It's not getting better. Every terrorist cause we've been fighting has only been increased and gotten stronger by dropping bombs and shooting them up with bullets. We need a weapons embargo to the Middle East, since we are supplying the majority of weapons which get out to all sides. We call for a weapons embargo, and we call for a freeze on the funding, including our allies. Hillary Clinton Clinton identified the Saudis as still the major funder
but
of
what are you
Sunni
going to do
jihad terror
about
around
ISIS
the world.
and the people?
So one thing we have to do is not keep doing what we've been doing, which has only made them stronger. Each terrorist threat has gotten worse. We created ISIS out of the chaos of Iraq. So let's not keep doing a proven
I understand what you say we shouldn't do. What should we do?
That's why we're calling, yes. What we should do is deprive them of weapons, deprive them of funding, freeze the bank accounts of our allies that continue to fund these terrorist enterprises, and close the border from Turkey so that the militias cannot cross over into Iraq and into Syria. We created this problem by funding it, by arming it. We and our allies, remember, this goes back to Afghanistan, where we created this in order to fight the Russians and the Soviet Union by beefing up the Mujahideen and creating this international terrorist enterprise.
I think a lot of people are going to question. We have to move on.
The madrasas.
But let me. What's wrong with Hillary Clinton?
Well, what I said about Hillary Clinton is that she cannot be the good guy in the white hat while Donald Trump is the bad guy in the black hat. Donald Trump says despicable things, but Hillary Clinton, unfortunately, has a record for doing many terrible things. Donald Trump talks about deporting Muslims. Unfortunately, Hillary Clinton has been bombing Muslims. 1 million people killed in Iraq alone, and we've only created a greater catastrophe there. The Republicans are the party of hate and fear-mongering, but the Democrats are the party of deportation, detention, and night raids for immigrants who, in many cases, have been forced to flee into this country as refugees from NAFTA, which Hillary Clinton and Bill gave the thumbs up to, in fact, signed, and Wall Street deregulation, which led to the disappearance of 9 million jobs here in America. So the things that are terrible right now in our economy are very much go back to the policies of the Clintons as much as the Republicans.
Dr. Stein.
Your war on Christianity, you're just a 10-foot-tall crybaby.
I'm crying.
It's not so bad. I mean, no, Christians aren't being killed.
No, not yet.
Well, and not in America, and they're not going to be.
They're verbally being killed.
80. So what?
Well, wait a minute, Stossel. Come on now. You shouldn't be diminished because you believe a certain way. Aren't you outraged by that?
No, I mean, what's diminished? I mean, 83% of the country says they are Christians.
Yeah.
You are the majority. You've won.
Well, it's not a matter of winning. It's a matter of respect.
You imply that the only way to be moral is to get it from your religion.
No, I don't. I don't make any implication like that at all. I don't criticize atheists. Look, you're an atheist, right? Or an agnostic or what?
Yeah, I'm looking for God may exist. I don't want to say I'm an atheist. I look for signs.
You look for signs, but you don't really see
pictures
anything.
of you up there.
No, you live on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, so if you think you're going to see signs up there, you're going to be disappointed.
Well, tell me where to look. I want to believe.
Go over to Lourdes.
Religious
Go
people.
over to Lourdes and look, all right? Or go to a place like that. But what I'm trying to tell you is I don't care whether you're confused about the deity or not. That's your right, all right? I don't go after people like, what was that guy? Penn Teller? What was his name? Penn Jillette. Yeah,
Penn Jillette.
you know, if he wants to say that, that's okay. But don't attack religious people, and don't say we're bigots because we oppose gay marriage, that we're anti-women because we want some limitations on abortion and don't want tax money. Don't do that. I'm going to fight you if you do that.
And you don't have to fight me. I agree with you, but that's not religious discrimination. That's big government that's trampling on individual rights.
No, that's religious-based discrimination, because secular progressives see church-going people as morons, number one, and they've said it, and as opposition to their sacred cows. Just a little biblical reference there. Sacred cows. Remember the Moses thing where they were worshiping the cow? No, because you don't know anything about religion.
I don't know about
you don't know the
worshiping
Moses.
the cow.
And you're half Jewish and you don't know Moses. Look, I'm going to get you in a tutorial, all right? And when you come out of it, you go mess with me every Sunday.
Let me ask you one question.
You asked me a question.
Okay. Are you anti-Semitic?
Not at all.
Okay. On your show on Sunday, you're the show that's named after you. right? The centerpiece of that show was a guy named Andy Martin.
I know you're reading your talking points.
No,
when you brought it.
no, I don't have talking points.
When I interviewed, hang on, I'm going to answer your question. When I interviewed Malik Shabazz, when I interviewed Al Sharpton, when I interviewed all these controversial figures, you see on Fox, we actually interview people of all points of view, whether we agree or disagree.
So
the statement you're about to read,
Andy Martin called the judge a crooked, slimy Jew who has a history of lying and thieving common to members of his race. Martin went on to write that he understood better why the Holocaust took place, given that Jew survivors are operating as a wolf pack.
I find those comments despicable. But wait a minute,
put him on your show.
We put Malik Shabazz on the show. I put Khalid Muhammad on my show.
Why am I not to believe that you're anti-Semitic? Why am I not to believe that everybody that works for the network is anti-Semitic? Because Sean Hannity gives a platform to somebody who thinks Jews are
I'm a journalist who interviews people that I disagree with all the time, that give their opinion. Fox has all points of view. We're allowing you on the program, and I don't agree with hardly anything Obama says.
Well,
so here's my I'm going to answer.
I really wish you wouldn't give a platform to virulent anti-Semites.
I will tell you this.
Even get a law license
I'll make a deal with you. If Barack Obama admits that what he did by sitting on a board with, giving speeches with, having going over to air.
You'll admit you're anti-Semitic?
No. I will admit to you that I will tell you that Barack Obama wants to be president. It's poor judgment. It is irresponsible and it's reckless to be. Well, let me finish. To be friends with a guy that bombed our Pentagon, was at war with our country, whose motto was to kill our children and kill your parents.
Well, I think it's deplorable.
And it's deplorable that your candidate for president has not been honest with the American people.
Slimy and understands the Holocaust better.
I'm explaining. Let me finish first.
Because of the way he
I'm explaining to you.
I can't believe you would give a platform.
So you don't want me to interview anybody that I agree with? I can interview only people you disagree with.
Put your whole show around him, Sean.
Barack Obama.
I'm led to believe only that you agree with each and everything that Andy Martin says.
Barack Obama, the president, sat in the pew of Jeremiah Wright for 20 years, a guy who hates America. Barack Obama's friends with William Flager. I have one last question. Did Barack Obama ever sit and meet with Louis Farrakhan? Has he ever met with Louis Farrakhan?
I don't know the answer to that.
Will you give us an answer by tomorrow?
Will you get back to me on whether you're anti-Semitic?
I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm the biggest supporter of Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu blurred my book.
Let me say, I don't think your Jewish viewers are going to take it very well that you put somebody like that on your show.
I am the biggest supporter of Israel, and I've got a 30-year history of on the record of it.
Well, ask some of their friends about what Andy Martin said.
I'm not friends with the guy that bombed the Pentagon. I'm not friends with the guy that bombed the Capitol.
You're friends with somebody who's
your candidate is friends with him, not me. Your candidate's friends with a terrorist.
That's not.
He sits on a board with a terrorist.
And welcome back to Saving America.
This kind of thing happens, Democrats and Republicans, because we have allowed our political leaders, our celebrities, to fester in this culture where they put the individual. No, where I'm saying where we put individuals above everyone's common good. They're in government. They should be working for the common good, and we've lost sight of that.
Wait, Sally's making a point.
First of all, there's no Obama phones. Second of all, look.
Stop a second. There is Obama phones.
We have always. Let's get to the issue. We have always been a country. Always, and liberals believe this, that has partnered individual entrepreneurship and hard work with the idea that we all do better together.
Sally,
that's why we created a nation, Sean.
My grandparents came here at the turn of the last century.
Yes.
$38, $40, $45 in their pockets. And guess what? They didn't have guaranteed health care, and they didn't have an Obama phone, and they didn't have a Social Security
system. We had the GI Bill. My grandfather went to
I
college
am
on the
telling
GI
you,
Bill. We had federally guaranteed
never
home
been this
loans.
high.
You know what? Excuse me. That we do better.
We never had that.
We need both. And I'm sorry, most
people...
We're
going to be broke like Spain and Portugal.
Then you know what? You are essentially calling everyone lazy. Right now, most of the people on food stamps are working because productivity in this country has gone up while incomes for working people have gone down. That's a problem.